Howdy folks, Rudrose here, and today we are bringing you a very special theme deck. That's right, it is all about Pocahontas, a brand new franchise added to Disney Lorcana. Very happy to see this. I always enjoyed this movie as a child. Man, what a great soundtrack. Colors in the Wind is just a fantastic song. Anyway, you're not here to talk about the movie, you're here to talk about some aggro. So, this is Amber, Amethyst aggro, and this is our Pocahontas list. I really wanted to try to see if there was anything there with all these cards and, you know, supplement a little bit with new aggro. But there's an idea that permeates several of these cards. You can see it here in the Compass. This was actually the card that kind of inspired it. This idea of you have these characters that as long as they're not challenging, you get this extra benefit. So the Compass at the end of your turn, if a character of yours challenged, you lose the item, which is absolutely stupid. I don't know why that text is on there. But if no one challenges, you get to reveal a top card of your deck. If it's a character card with 3 or less, or if it's named Pocahontas, you get to add it to your hand. Otherwise, it goes to the bottom. Because it goes to the bottom, it actually makes it pretty nice to have multiple compasses, because unlike the Queen's Sensor Core, that only revealed the top card, and then it stayed there if it wasn't a queen or princess. With the Compass, because it tucks it to the bottom, so again, you have multiple, you can then check the next card and the next card in case you whiff on it. I have altered this list quite a bit to really build it around the Compass. As you can see, we have 1s, 2s, 3 drops. The only card we have above a 3 drop is the 5-cost Big Shift Legend Pocahontas, but because her name is Pocahontas, she gets added off of the Compass. So the only thing that the Compass cannot grab is itself and this Wisdom of the Willow card. And since you have to have one in play anyway, there's only 6 cards in the whole deck that you can whiff on, which of course, knowing my luck means, hey, guess how many times I whiffed anyway? So Compass is one of your ways to generate card advantage, because that's usually the main problem with aggro, is that once it runs out of its cards, it just completely runs out of gas. So you need cards that refuel your hand. In the past, we've used Amethyst Chromicon, which that was in this list originally as a way to, again, keep card draw going. However, it does conflict with the Compass. So if you would prefer that as a more traditional aggro, you think it's more reliable, and it might be because it always draws, whereas this can technically whiff, and this, it doesn't break itself like the Compass does. You could put the Chromicon in here, but we are using this new Wisdom of the Willow. This card has been really, really nice in testing. So for us this turn, whenever any character of yours quests, you get to draw a card. So you'll see in some of these matches, if you can go, you know, say Daisy on 1, into something on 2, into a lady, something else, and then on turn 4 you cast Wisdom of the Willow, and you can quest with 4 characters, and you draw 4 cards back up your hand. It feels incredible. It gives the aggro a dimension it didn't have. Now, the only tricky part is, this really only works on that turn 4 or a later turn if you're able to keep your characters around. It does synergize really well with the new Pocahontas legend, which we'll get to in a moment. But if you were to just like top deck it later, you're just like looking for any character, it feels really bad. And then having like a single character quest for a card, that's not really worth 4 in hand. But I still think it's strong enough that it's worth having it just for that blowout turn. So most of these Pocahontas cards have a theme around them, which is not challenging. They're all about, peace, which is very thematic to the film. As usual, Ravensburger nails the theme on cards pretty darn well. Playability, not so much. So this card is absolutely backbreaking when it works. Quote, that's very specific though, when it works. So you have to shift her, and none of your characters can have challenged this turn. And that's a theme for a lot of these decks. Same with John Smith. To get that extra lore, you can't have challenged. Percy, he can't challenge just outright. And there are some games when it would be the correct play to challenge. They have an exposed character that is just sitting there waiting to get picked off. But by challenging, you're turning off all these cards' effects, including outright banishing the Compass, which just makes no sense. It just shouldn't have triggered at the end of the turn. The fact that it actually breaks is really, really dumb. And I do think they missed the mark on these. Again, while they tend to get theme from a design perspective and a balance perspective, Ravensburger for these theme decks, they tend to make you work super duper hard to get an effect that's just barely worth the payoff. Like for all the hoops you have to jump through to set some of this stuff, it's genuinely not worth the payoff you get. Other than maybe this big Pocahontas. Her ability to prevent any challenging the next turn is really, really strong. Now, it won't stop everything. There are times they will still have spot removal. They'll hit you with Into the Unknown. They'll hit you with a Zeus, a Strength, or a Raging Fire, whatever. But if you can shift her onto I prefer the 3-cost one, man, it really makes a difference. I'll show you that in some of the matches. It just sucks that outside of that, like if you just play her for 5, she doesn't do anything. She's just a body. Then we need some Pocahontas to shift on. I've added every single ones there are, and believe it or not, it's just the 2 and the 3 cost. They're bafflingly, there's no 1 cost. I don't understand that. The 3 cost is just our little lore bump. You can kind of think of it like Donald Duck. People used to run the bodyguard version. Doesn't come with bodyguard, does come with more willpower, but just buffs everything by 1. Can help you cheese some lore. You might see that in a match. Percy, I quite like. He's 1/4, so he's got the stats of a Daisy with 3 lore. Compared to Daisy, that's actually a little underwhelming that, he costs 3 times as much as she does, and the only thing he gets out of it is 1 extra lore pip, and then he can't challenge. Again, why is this text on here? Like, it's a 1/4. If you're challenging with your 1/4 3 lore card, you've probably already lost the game anyway. This text just didn't need to be there. However, he does synergize very well with this Pocahontas, and I really do like this card. Whenever this character quests, you gain lore equal to another chosen exerted character's lore. So if you quest with Percy first for 3, then quest with Pocahontas, she'll gain her own 1, and then she'll copy Percy's 3. One warning, too, you'll see this on Inktable, that the computer is not properly, I guess, programmed to make how these cards work, and I checked with a judge, and it does work this way. It's like, let's say you play this 3-cost Pocahontas. You give Percy 1 extra lore. He has 4 lore. And then he quests for 4. This Pocahontas should copy his 4 lore total because he's actually gaining this extra lore pip. For some reason, the Inktable computer doesn't recognize that, so that's a flaw in its end, but it does work that way. And you can even, you'll see in some of these matches too, you can sequence this. So even if you shift on this Pocahontas, let's say you quest with the lady, quest with Pocahontas, have her copy the lady, and she'll actually get extra lore that way. She'll get 1 plus 2, so she gets 3. Then you shift on top, and you get 1 extra lore from this Pocahontas' quest and copy. But then you still get the no challenge effect, so really cool. Yeah, I love it when it works out, but it's definitely, it's too difficult right now. So some of the other cards, Nani. It's just, not that you can really challenge much, but on the offhand chance you're able to, she at least is a decently statted 3 cost, and she almost always is going to find you another card. I don't think I've had her whiff once yet. Mowgli's just for a little scouting, take a dangerous card out of their hand. Lady is pretty well known, good aggro card. Christopher Robin is okay. I've been trying out the underdog mechanic. I think he's the only one that's really worth playing, at least in this list, and even then, like, he doesn't feel very good to play for 2. Like, he's only in there for that turn 1. But he's fine. I haven't really felt, like, amazed by him or felt, like, super underwhelmed. He's just kind of there. John Smith. So it's essentially a Simba from set 1, stats 2-3, no bodyguard. And then if he's exerted and no one has challenged, again, 2 conditions, then you get 1 extra lore. So it's essentially like he quests for 2, but of course he doesn't have 2 lore, so he doesn't, like, benefit Pocahontas. Again, it's just why. I don't know why. I get the theme of not challenging, but I think he should have gotten more lore, or, maybe he gets 1 extra attack till the start of the next turn for that, like something, because it's still pretty easy for them to trade into him. That's actually one thing I like about the purple Pocahontas, is that with 3 strength, oftentimes she will banish something that's trying to attack her early. And then beyond that, we just have a bunch of 1-drops. Thomas, you could put Nala or whatever in this place, but, it fits the Pocahontas theme. Daisy's good as always. Diablo's just in there for some card draw. And Palace Guard can be used to challenge early. Grandmother Willow, this is the brand new big card. It is way better in a deck like Dogs that can really benefit from it with something like the Tramp that really benefits from cost reduction, but it's still useful here. If you have, let's say, 2 1-drops, you drop your Daisy on 1, you follow up with Willow on 2, and then you drop the next 1-drop right after that completely for free, which gives you a really wide character board for Wisdom of the Willow. So I do really like it. I think it works pretty well in this deck. One thing to note, they did officially clarify that it is the very first character you play this effect is automatically applied to, because it's not an optional May. I know there was some confusion about that, so yeah, just know that it's whatever the very first character you play is. So if you have 3 Grandma Willows on the field, you could technically play a 3-drop for free, but if you put down like a Diablo, that's it. It eats up all the discounts just for that. So this is Pocahontas Aggro. It's pretty straightforward. Let's show you some matches for it. And we've got quite a few matches on here for you today, but of course they're all aggressive matches, so these are going to go pretty darn quick. Pretty much with any aggro, you're always looking, you absolutely have to have a 1-drop. Missing a 1-drop, might as well lose the game. Not guaranteed, but pretty likely. There you can see I just did the Grandmother Willow trick, putting her out and then getting out another Palace Guard. Palace Guard is actually a really good card to take out a card like Basil. We get another Willow out, which lets us get our discount on our Nani. Probably go for Christopher Robin just for the uninkable. And as you can see, so now I'm set up for this big Wisdom of the Willow play. Yeah, he can snipe it out with the Basil. He's got his Cheshire. Well, watch this. So we get the Pocahontas completely for free because of the Willows. Play Wisdom of the Willow. quest 4 times. We're not getting a ton of lore out of this. It's only 6 lore total, but still, we just drew 4 cards. So again, in most aggro lists, I'm already out of gas. I cannot keep the game going, and I'm just in top deck mode already. Being in top deck mode and you only have 3 lore, that doesn't feel good. But when you can just restock your hand that way, holy moly, that feels good. I go ahead and use that Pocahontas to give an extra to the willow. Don't be too worried about exposing your willows too. Like, there's a time to be patient with that and be like, okay, I need to hold them back because I want the cost reduction. But there's also a time like this, just turn them sideways. So here you go, big Pocahontas, colors of the wind, baby. Turn them sideways. We're gonna use her to copy the genie. And now say, okay, I'm on 18 lore. You better have Spooky Sight because you can't even challenge. Even if you had a full board of challengers, you can't challenge this board. Yeah, I don't think so. So you can just see the blowout power of that card. So very quick, Wisdom of the Willow into the big Pocahontas. Boom, we got it. Of course, it helps when you're going against blue decks. Aggro, as always, will pick apart on the blue decks. Steel decks are going to be a lot harder. Here we are going first still, so we don't need the Christopher Robin. I don't overly value playing Christopher Robin on 2 a whole lot. Like, I'd rather do that Pocahontas. I think she benefits more from it. Oh, and I didn't give my usual caveat. So, as the usual caveat, as you just saw there, the computer exposed the Basil and they did it in the last turn. This is against the computer on ink table, and it does not always make very good decisions. So just take all these with the grain of salt they're intended to, because it's the computer. But that's the only way I have to show you matches, because can't use Lorcana and Pixel Board doesn't exist anymore. So we could shift Pocahontas here. We're only protecting the Percy. I might go in on the Compass. So we'll do the Percy, gain another 3 lore off of it with that Pocahontas. Of course, the Compass whiffs. Six cards in the whole deck for it to whiff on, and of course it whiffed. So now, here's where we get punished by that, because if we get the big Pocahontas, just like we did there, now we at least have a shift target for it. It really bugs me. You have to shift this card. It's just so specific. I like it. It's a fun theme. So here we're probably going to go in on the shift. Yep. We've exposed it. Now we have a Percy. Yeah. So, okay. So we have 3. You have to answer every character on this board, and you can't attack any of them. Get your board wipes out. Because, yeah, go ahead. Draw all you want. Oh, that Royal Guard. Yeah, he's got a lot of attack. Too bad he can't hit anything. So you can see when she goes off, the power of this Pocahontas is very strong, and it genuinely has given the deck a new angle that it didn't have before, that ability to just shut off challenging entirely. You know, it's kind of like Tiana. Like Tiana, of course, they could still challenge, they just had to pay attacks, and it's very well could be possible that in the scheme of things, Tiana is overall a more reliable card. Now, she's uninkable, which sucks, but she can come out sooner with the Aurora package. I'm not saying this is the premier way to play aggro. You know, I'll always be honest about how good or competitive a deck I think it is. It's aggressive, and pretty much all aggro is competitive in its own right, just because it has that ability to go so fast and your opponent just can't do anything about it. But is it better than Tiana? I mean, probably not overall in the sense of it's less reliable, but I do think it has a bigger payoff than Tiana. But Tiana had the same thing, right? Like, if you got those certain Tiana openings against some decks, there's just nothing they could do about it. You just win on the spot. And this Pocahontas, as you're about to see here, is very similar. We make sure we quest with our high lore questers first, and then purple Pocahontas gets to copy him. I really do like that card. It's very fun. And we get on another one. So yeah, answer this board. Oh, and you can't even challenge it. It's so satisfying. Oh, and we're going to win this turn anyway, but just in case, we'll do Wisdom of the Willow. So if I weren't going to win this turn, I'm going to completely restock my hand. All right, who do we got on the chopping block next? We've got a lot of 1-drops. That's good. I'm never opposed to the triple 1-drop play. Or sometimes, obviously, you can go in on the 2 costs Pocahontas as well. A little Clarabelle action. Triple 1-drop always feels good. Again, Palace Guard is a pretty decent card to challenge into a Clarabelle. As the computer brings out another one. Yeah, we're just going to go wide. The one little scary part about this particular match is that the Diablos are our only form of card draw, so we are kind of stuck in that top deck mode. Ooh, malicious means scary. Yikes, got rid of both Diablos. That's pretty good. That was a pretty punishing MMS. But now we'll get Percy out. Percy with this Pocahontas is so nice. Just copy one of our Palace Guards. Yeah, if you're using the purple one, just make sure you use her in a manner that you can that you're getting the most lore. So here, so technically, again, there's a perfect example. I should have gotten 4 lore off of my purple Pocahontas, but the computer doesn't recognize it for some reason, so I should be at 15. So just know that if you play those cards in person, that it is supposed to work that way. We give Percy another +1, and boom, takes us all the way to 20. Here we got the compass. Sometimes it's okay to keep the compass in the opening hand. Very rarely when I want to drop it on turn 3. So that's the weird thing about the compass too. I'll use this time to kind of talk about the design aspect of it, that it's a slow card in the sense that it's not applying tempo, right? It's not applying any board presence. So right now, if I were to drop it on 3 instead of the Christopher Robin, which I went for with the Pocahontas to apply lore pressure, I wouldn't be adding any lore to the board. I'm just adding potential resources. And I think that's what's... So you already can't challenge, or the item outright breaks, which is just insane. I don't know why that text was on there. So you can't challenge. Then it only hits specific cards. Like, it's not like it just says draw a card or, you know, look at the top 3 cards and pick one. That would be really strong. No, it has to reveal one and get the very specific one, as we get a great Wisdom of the Willow blowout turn here. God, look at all those cards. Look, am I playing a purple deck or what? Look at all those cards in hand. Holy moly. Yeah, there's nothing they can do about this. Again, maybe if you had the Philip combo, but even then, I have so many cards to reload with. You would need another Philip combo entirely, so... As you see, we get a very, very wide board, and Christopher Robin takes it in. So what I was saying about the compass was that it already has all these conditions. You can't challenge, outright breaks. It only checks the top card. It has to be a specific type of card. And so there's some Pocahontas cards. Like, there's a decent bodyguard for 4. He's like a 4-cost 5/5 bodyguard, and he can't challenge. And I thought of putting him in there, and I think it's Pocahontas' father. But he can't, it won't hit off the compass. So when I'm trying to build around this compass, I'm trying to avoid high-cost cards like that. So you have all that, and then, but it encourages you too, right? Hey, this item only sticks around if you don't challenge, so you have to just constantly quest. So it's weird then that I have to take my entire turn 3 off to not put on lore pressure when the card is telling me to quest. Like, it's just weird. It's just over-designed, as most of their stuff is. Here we see Pocahontas come down. Ruby Amethyst can be a big pain because some of these Ruby cards they have such high bodies. But the no challenging makes a big difference. Now some of those big bodies can come in as we get the Pocahontas off the top of the compass. For some reason, the computer doesn't... I guess they just don't want to mess with the 6 body of Pocahontas. I guess they couldn't have sent it, Negaduck alone. They could have shifted Negaduck first and didn't. So there you go, showing how the computer just doesn't always make good decisions, because they absolutely should have shifted Negaduck, taken out the big Pocahontas. But even if they had done that, like, I still am so far ahead lore-wise. And here, I just wait. Yes, they can drop a bunch of libraries, but it doesn't matter because I have this, plus the purple Pocahontas gets so much lore. Oh, I love it. That card's genuinely good. So yeah, overall, it is quite fun, and I do like it. And again, I'm a sucker for themes, and I want to see them push themes, but they're just so conservative with their theme design. I like the idea. Oh, okay, Pocahontas, it's about peaceful cards. They don't challenge, you know. But if you're going to make me do that, you have to give me something more, like this John Smith. So not only does he have to be exerted, why can't he just generate that passively? Like, imagine if you played him on 2 and he just gets a lore by just existing. Now, I know what their worry about that is, but then you would have no reason to ever exert him, which means they don't ever have to challenge him. But he doesn't have lore, he doesn't have anything like that. You know, whether that's the right way to balance or not, my point is that they want you to do, you're putting in all this effort for something that the payoff just isn't quite there. But that's the world we're living in. So we'll shift. We'll give our protection effect, not a huge board to protect, but you do essentially get a double out of this, right? So I protect them this turn, then I'm going to get one more turn to do it again. Of course, a card like Tigger comes down and just blows that out of the water. So yeah, this one might be a little tough. I have the option to be patient there and wait for the Wisdom of the Willow. Although the computer decides not to trade in both Diablos to the Pocahontas, she would trade with everything that goes in on this board. Just decides not to challenge, and the computer's putting on its own lore pressure, and I'm kind of worried here. Yeah, these Diablos quest for 2. I kind of would like to whack them, but I just don't think I'm there, so I've got to race, fill up with the Grandmother Willow, see if I can just get there on time. And the computer says, nah, I think I can just go faster than you. Takes out the Daisy with the Tigger, goes up to 17 with the Dumbo, and banishes. Luckily, we have our own Pocahontas, so I can get the +1 lore and win on the spot. Woo, that one was close. Some of those Ruby high-strength characters, man, they're brutal. They're really good counters to most aggro decks. Yeah, I think the Pocahontas, like, it should have just been on play. It, like, just have this, you know, she's the Peacekeeper. That's fine. Hey, as long as you haven't challenged this turn, when you play her, you know, none of your characters nothing can be challenged, so she keeps the peace. But just make it so it's on play on turn 5 as well. Don't make it so you have to shift it. Oh, and then also you can't challenge. It's a pain, but whatever. So we get a free Pocahontas out with the lady. Again, don't really have any card draw right now. This is against Amethyst Steel too, and this matchup is hard. They have so many tools to deal with. As Steel has always been really good at dealing with aggressive decks. So I've just got to try to get lore really quick. Cobra is such a good card to just beat down on a card like Daisy. Luckily, I at least have Christopher Robin with the Pocahontas. I'm just putting on as much lore as I possibly can. You just have to overwhelm them because they're going to be able to take out all your characters. Genie can take out my Pocahontas. I'm still representing lethal. Oh, there's Elsa, right on time as always. John Smith. Oh, lady by herself. Quest, John Smith, and Elsa. Why? Oh, why? This matchup's so hard. Okay, I just need to stick. Please, not another Elsa. No Elsa, no removal. They not have it, no strength. Hey, look there. We got there by the skin of our teeth just because they happened to not get the removal. Man, that matchup's tough. So there you go. That's the deck. I highly doubt it's the best form of aggro, but it's fun. And again, I love the theme and I like the movie, so it was satisfying to play. If you have any suggestions for it, as always, let me know. I'll put the link to this deck list in the description below. But yeah, if you've got any cards that make it cracked, you can go away from the theme too. You can put in like Zombie Lilo and any other kind of typical aggressive cards that go in here. Feel free to try all those. Sadly, no Duel Links really working here. Maybe Pascal, but so many of them are the Madrigals. So anyway, let me know what you think. I appreciate you watching so much. Feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, take care.